Extra depth on a murder case that has finally come to a conclusion after 7 years. On May 7th, 2017, 23-year-old Tyler Croak was ambushed in a tactical military-style attack here at this apartment complex in East El Paso. Croak was pulled out of a shower and thrown to the ground, held down, threatened, and ultimately stabbed. His throat was slashed and he bled to death.
5 people were charged with capital murder. Stephanie Fernandez was convicted in 2018. Zachary Johnston pleaded guilty to a lesser charge of murder in 2019 in exchange for a life sentence with the possibility of parole. But the remaining 3 suspects, Adam Acosta, Brandon Olson, and Tristan Chilton, waited to go to trial for years on end, until May of this year, when they all agreed to plead guilty to a lesser charge of murder. Adam Acosta received 35 years confinement with credit for the 7 years he served since being arrested. So did Tristan Chilton. Brandon Olson received a life sentence with the possibility of parole. They all have credit for the 7 years served, but no right to an appeal. The district attorney Bill Hicks held a news conference shortly after the hearings, but quickly turned the podium over to the Croak family so they could speak. I asked Tyler Croak's mom, Kirsten, how she felt about the plea deals and sentences.
Regarding Tristan Chilton and Adam Acosta, DA Hicks does know that we are not pleased with the 35-year plea deal offered to them. That means that they've already served 7, and 10.5 years from now, we will have to fight when they go up for parole. So this doesn't end for us here today. This continues on for us. And we're fine with the plea offer of life that was offered to Brandon Olson.
If it had been my son, if it had been my brother, I absolutely would be in the same position that they were. I would not be satisfied with 35 years for anyone who had been involved in the death of a loved one. So I absolutely understand where the family is coming from. Their son, their brother was murdered in a vicious and horrible way, and certainly, most certainly, did not deserve anything like what happened. We had to make decisions about how to move these cases forward. We're hoping that justice has been done. Thank you.
The Croak family doesn't agree, and they elaborated in a one-on-one interview.
Justice won't ever be served regardless of what they get, and we as a family have to focus on, getting through this each day, taking it one day at a time.
I mean, it's really hard to come away from the situation with any conclusions, especially because the people that are at fault, I guess they're locked up, but obviously it provides no solace. You're kind of stuck with the burden of the situation forever.
They're also coming to terms with seeing Tyler's killers in person.
They don't look like normal human beings. I can't explain it. That's just my thought. They looked subhuman to me.
And Olson, he's a dog. He's a rabid dog. There's nothing really behind the eyes. He's sort of just like an organism that moves, but there's nothing really. He doesn't belong in society.
No cameras were allowed in the courtroom during the plea hearings or the victim impact statements, but Kirsten shared what she said.
A little over 7 years ago, my beautiful, handsome son was taken from us by you. You brutally took his life with no mercy. Only inherently evil and possessed human beings could have tortured and killed my son the way that you did. Your main role as a parent is to protect your children from harm and provide them with love. I grieve every single day that I could not save my child as he pleaded for his life while you beat him, stabbed him, and slit his throat as he crawled away. While he laid there dying after you rushed out of the apartment to grab fast food, none of you should ever see the outside beyond your prison doors. Our family will continue to fight for justice and will be at every single parole hearing to ensure you never leave prison. I will pray for your souls. God will be your ultimate judge.
Hear Kirsten Croak's heart-wrenching statement in its entirety in the Borderland Crimes podcast episode, and who she specifically wanted to thank once the sentencing was over. Plus, what happened in the courtroom with the defendants as the sentences were issued, including what one of the defendants did before he was led away. You can listen to the entire Borderland Crimes podcast episode right now, wherever you get podcasts, and on KBIA.com. Stephanie Valle, ABC 7.